Teraz bardzo proszę panią Arlenę Peukert z Muzeum Sztuki Stosowanej z Budapesztu o wygłoszenie referatu Hidden Treasures Rediscovered.
At first, I would like to say thank you to the National Museum for the invitation, and it's really great to be here as part of the Partage Plus project. In the next 15 minutes, I'm going to talk about the Bigot-Pavilion, a monumental ensemble of architectural ceramics, which until the end of September 2014 can be admired and studied at the Museum of Applied Arts. For the first time since its glorious presentation at the Paris Exposition Universelle of 1900, the Bigot-Pavilion is shown in its entirety. For more than a century, most of the architectural ceramic elements of the pavilion, produced by the Alexandre Bigot and Company factory, were stored in the basement of the Museum of Applied Arts. Not only dampness and variation in temperature took their toll on the ceramic objects, also the two world wars had a severe impact on the condition of the Bigot-Pavilion. The pavilion, constructed of Art Nouveau architectural sample pieces, was acquired by the director of the Museum of Applied Arts, Jenő Radičić, for 5,500 francs, directly after the World's Fair in October 1900. In a letter to the Hungarian Minister of Religion and Education from the 25th of October 1900, Radičić wrote, "On the amount of credit at my disposal, I have purchased 109 pieces for the museum. Special significance should be given to the monumental installation of Bigot, which was among the most well-known and most artistic ceramic work of art at the Paris exhibition."
Can I ask you to slow down because we need to interpret?
Okay, I'm sorry. Alexandre Bigot was awarded the Grand Prix and the Legion of Honor for his installation. Alexandre Bigot, who was a trained physics and chemistry instructor, developed an interest in ceramics when seeing an exhibition of Chinese and Far Eastern porcelain in Paris in 1889. Because of his knowledge in chemistry, Bigot was able to experiment with different glazing techniques. In the years that followed, he created glazes in a large variety of colors and finishes. In 1894, Bigot established a ceramic workshop in Meaux, France. The factory produced earthenware fired at high temperatures known as grès flammé. This material was most suitable for the decoration and paneling of the facades of modern ferroconcrete buildings. The ceramic decoration and construction elements were not only easy to produce and less expensive than stone-carved ornamentation, but also frost-resistant and less susceptible to coal dust and industrial pollution. The surface of the ceramics was usually covered with special glazes in all shades of white, brown, rose, yellow, blue, and green, including crystalline glazes which often float down on the surface of the plastic forms. Bigot also created special matte glazes using acids to corrode the surface. The glazed earthenware was only fired once, which kept the production costs low. Apart from architectural ceramic elements, the Bigot manufactory also produced various dishes and vases. At its heyday, the Bigot factory had about 150 workers and operated 10 industrial kilns. Here you can see a photo of the Bigot glazing workshop taken in 1913 and used as a postcard. As the leading player in the field of architectural ceramics, Alexandre Bigot cooperated with the most renowned architects and sculptors of the time, such as Jules-Aimé Lavirotte, Paul Jouve, and Jean-Baptiste Larive. Most of the objects presented in the Paris World's Fair sprang from cooperation with Lavirotte. A major part of the pieces of architectural ceramics were produced already in 1899. According to photos published in contemporary magazines, apparently the Bigot company introduced its products at the Paris International Exhibition in temporary suits and units. The Bigot-Pavilion was displayed on the Esplanade des Invalides in the 72nd section. The following now is an attempt to retrace the original installation of the ceramic objects in the pavilion based on 2 archival photos from 1900. So we can here see an attempt to retrace this installation. So we have balconies and columns, pilasters and friezes on floor level, lunettes, and again the frieze. So all these decorative elements and pots and dishes were arranged kind of in a manner to merge interior and exterior spaces. We have an open hall with small roof and round arch, a staircase with balusters, a wall with columns and a balcony, and they all were lavishly adorned with tiles and elegant ornaments of various floral and figural shapes. So we can here see now all kinds of railings, decorative wall elements, small columns, the bust, arches, wall tiles, again a column. And then there's this famous Bigot animal frieze, balusters, and a statuette with a snail and plants wrapping around the body. Bigot's pavilion represents the essence of his architectural ceramic program. It also shows his attempt to become an interior designer for the middle-class home. Extensive advertisement in the form of catalogs, leaflets, and business cards, the latter decorated with images of Bigot's awards and medals, was set out to encourage potential customers, clients, and architects to purchase Bigot's products. Several of the objects from the World Exhibition were listed in the Bigot catalog from 1900 and the reprint from 1902, and could be ordered from the company for the prices noted. Bigot's interest in Japanese, Chinese, and Far Eastern ceramics shows not only in his glazing techniques. Copper and iron glaze filme originate from ancient Chinese glazing techniques, but is also apparent in the motifs used in his friezes. Simple friezes are constructed of separate tiles, each tile decorated with an independent motif. Artists like Henry van der Velde, Pierre Roche, and Alexandre Bigot introduced tiles that showed only part of the motif. In that way, the friezes not only had a specific direction evoking movement, also the illusion of the motif entering and leaving the frame was created. This motif evidently originates from Japanese art. On this Japanese sword hilt, a so-called tsuba, which was published in Siegfried Bing's Le Japon Artistique from 1888, we can also see the motif, in this case a fish, entering and leaving the frame. Bigot's installation of architectural sample pieces at the Paris World's Fair was a huge success. Although Bigot's ceramics were made in various historical styles, very prominent is the style of Art Nouveau, he never really limited himself to one particular style. For him, the challenge was the material and the glazes. The magic of his ceramic objects evidently lies in the rich, colorful, sometimes bloody glazes which cover the daring and exotic shapes. Siegfried Bing praised Bigot's ceramic objects for their close resemblance to natural stone products. In his eyes, Bigot's ceramics looked like freshly excavated prehistoric or archaeological artifacts. A ceramic ensemble to which this description applies could be the Bigot animal frieze. These dark blue panels, executed after a design by Paul Jouve, were not only used for the pavilion. The Babylonian-inspired tiles depicting a tiger, a bear, a lion, a bull, and a mountain sheep are also decorating the triumphal gateway of the Place de la Concorde. The French architect René Binet designed the entrance for the Paris exposition, modeled after an illustration of a microscopic sea fauna. The structure as a whole was adorned with Byzantine motifs and Mid-Eastern-inspired ceramic ornamentations. The Bigot animal frieze decorating the base of the monumental entrance pavilion was awarded the Grand Prix. So you can see perhaps in this blurred picture the animals striding on. Already, no, stop. Similar pieces of architectural ceramics displayed at the exhibition in Budapest can be found even today in facades of apartment buildings in Paris. The building on the 29th Avenue Rapp in the 7th arrondissement, built between 1900 and 1901, is again a joint collaboration of Bigot and Lavirotte. The facade is adorned with glazed earthenware showing rich and exotic forms. On the 5th and 6th floor, one can discover ceramic elements which were also shown at the Bigot-Pavilion in 1900, such as the balcony railings, columns, arches, and statuettes. The dominant color scheme in bloody green and brown, though, caused Richard Bormann, a contemporary of Bigot, to remark in 1902 that the facade of the building is a little uneasy to the eyes. But this is actually in the eyes of the beholder, so we don't judge. Equally captivating is the facade of the building in 3 Square Rapp by Bigot and Lavirotte. The balcony over the entrance door, as well as the columns with plastic decoration and the window lintels, are similar to the ones acquired by Jenő Radicic at the Paris Exposition. A question left open to speculation is why, among all the exhibits at the Paris Exposition Universelle of 1900, the director of the Museum of Applied Arts decided to purchase the Bigot-Pavilion. Before becoming the director of the Museum of Applied Arts in 1896, the year of the opening of the new museum building, Radicic had already established international relations with art dealers and specialists in France and Britain. One of them is Louis de la Marie Didot, a member of the board of the Union Centrale and close friend of Radicic. De la Marie Didot became the museum's official agent in France, supplying the museum with exquisite work of art. The museum's initial aim was to create an art collection that would promote the development of Hungarian craft industries and raise the standard of public taste. Numerous national and international exhibitions and fairs at the end of the 19th century provided for the opportunity to acquire historic artifacts, as well as objects of the latest artistic taste. Radicic's supreme sensitivity for new developments of modern art and his interest in the Art Nouveau period elevated the contemporary collection of the Museum of Applied Arts to one of the finest of its time. The monumental ensemble of architectural ceramics by the Bigot Company was meant to further enrich the collection. Already in 1898, the museum was able to purchase a Bigot object, a bun-shaped vase covered with thick mat coulé glaze. This was probably the first time that museum specialists in Hungary gained notion of Bigot's technical innovations in the field of earthenware production. Not only the very unique glazing techniques, the extreme variety of forms and colors of Bigot's products, but also the fact that the ceramic objects were created for the decoration and paneling of facades likewise, caught Radicic's immediate interest. Using ceramics not only as decoration, but also as construction elements in modern ferro-concrete buildings was a novelty at the time. When architectural ceramics were introduced at the Universal Exposition of 1889, the call for such works quickly expanded. In cities such as Paris, the facades had to express the social status, wealth, and taste level of its owners. Colorful glazed earthenware could meet these demands. In Paris, facades became objets d'art in the truest sense. It was a Hungarian manufactory of stoneware, ceramic, and tiles that could keep pace with the Bigot Company. The Jolnai porcelain manufactory, situated in Pécs, today's southern Hungary, began experimenting with frost-resistant terracotta for architectural purpose as early as in the 1860s. Ornamental architectural terracotta elements in various shapes and forms were at first produced by the factory for local needs only. In the 1880s, the factory improved the quality of its construction material. They called the new frost and acid-resistant material fired at a very high temperature pyrogranite in such a manner that they could meet the demands of first-class Hungarian architects such as Ödön Lechner and Imre Steindl. The Museum of Applied Arts in Budapest, built in 1896 by Ödön Lechner, was intended to be a prime example of modern Hungarian architectural style. The building's entire outer skin, the facing elements of the wall, and the tiling on the roof came from the Jolnai factory, since their products were technically and aesthetically of the finest quality. Products by the Jolnai factory won worldwide recognition at world's fairs and international exhibitions. Perhaps it was Radicic's intention to showcase the striking similarities between the successful interconnection of architecture and applied arts, as ceramics, and France and Hungary. The cooperation of Bigot and Lavirot, Jolnai and Lechner during the Art Nouveau period led to the creation of unique total work of art. Thanks to restorators, museum professionals, researchers, photographers, and the staff of the Museum of Applied Arts, the objects from the Bigot-Pavilion are restored in their former glory and can now, alongside with pieces from the Jolnai factory, be admired and studied online via Europeana, the online collection database of the Museum of Applied Arts, and the Google Art platform. Thank you for your attention.